name's Lucy Murphy. I'm the founder of Aligned AI Marketing, and my mission is to allow you the empowerment to use AI in your business. And that doesn't just mean using ChatGPT for creating your messaging, and it doesn't just mean doing little bits of research with Perplexity or, even using OpenClaw, that kind of thing. A lot of it has to do with how you keep your voice, and also to allow you to continue in your business, being yourself, keeping your voice, but also monetizing using AI. So I've seen this firsthand. I have created apps for people. I've done database reactivation using AI with SMS. And what I've learned so far is hopefully going to be of use to you. So what I'm doing is creating a Lovable challenge, and the way that I'm going to dive into this, but Lovable is a tool where you can actually create your own app or website and have that as your own. And this is especially useful if you have your own framework already. So something that I want to just go into before we sort of dive into what the Lovable side of things is just introducing you to the fact that if you're a business owner, you're in marketing. So you might know me from marketing automation, content, and marketing automation I've had a career in marketing that's been going on for quite some time. And marketing in itself is one thing, and it's the precursor to sales. But what it is right now is definitely something that is part of your day-to-day life. If you're a business owner, you'll understand that very much. And what I hear a lot from people having done marketing for small business owners and entrepreneurs all the way through to billion-dollar companies is that there's always a sense of trepidation around it. So what I want to do is firstly dispel some myths around AI and actually allow you to see it for what it is. And also just to reassure you that yes, you're in business to make money and to be successful, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of your voice if you wanted to incorporate AI into that. So one thing that I really wanted to get across is that being in marketing doesn't mean that you have to be drained by it. So what I mean by this is, I've had some times in my life and my career where it's felt overwhelming, because actually you've got strategy, content creation, and the creative side of things. And that's not always done in isolation. That's done with other people helping you. But in addition to that, there's the added layer of complexity when it comes to paid media and things like that as well, which in a B2B context, you never did marketing that was free. Social media was kind of something that you did in addition to all of your paid advertising and exhibitions and graphics and, print stuff and, online articles and stuff, and banner ads and things. And what I've always felt is that I've only ever had patience with the marketing activity that has got some sort of impact in it. So my favorite campaign was, we got something like 2.5 million views on this one advert, this one campaign, when I was working in a billion-dollar company. Can't mention the name, but it's one of those things where just the to and fro of it all, the deciding, the creative, the approval. And that's what I love about working for myself, is that I get to approve my own artwork and, the content or whatever. But what comes with that is a little bit of stress. So the pressure is on you. And what I find is it can be daunting because there's so much more than there used to be. And for your, a small business, you have every different platform that people say that you should be on. Do videos, do reels, do trial reels, do stories, make sure you do, long form posts on Facebook, make sure you're on LinkedIn, go live, don't forget to go live, etc., etc. And then you've got email and other launch type activity on top of that. Oh, it's exhausting just talking about it. So I have felt drained by doing marketing, even though my training, my education is in marketing and my experience is in marketing. I still find it draining. So what I wanted to do was find a way, because I love just lazing around at the spa. I love going for walks. I like spending time in the garden. And what I don't want to do is sit at my desk for a hell of a long time every single day doing my own marketing. It's for businesses who have their day job and the client delivery as well as marketing and admin and finance and everything else. To me, it just seems like a lot. And so my mission is, because I've struggled with depression, anxiety, overwhelm, burnout, you name it. And the reason I started working for myself is so that I could serve others and have a slightly easier life. And I don't think that's too unfair to want. So thank you for listening to my TED Talk. No. So we still need to do marketing. We still need to do the work, but things can be different if we just open our eyes to it. And something that I like to teach is giving people the tools that enables them to do it themselves. So what I saw with social media is, you would hire a social media manager, or you would outsource to, a social media marketing company. Same with email. And then eventually all of these things started to come in-house. So you'd start off with an agency, because Facebook, oh my gosh, Facebook for business, goodness gracious me, that was like a big thing, years back. And I am predicting that AI is going to be the same sort of thing, where you've got early adopters, you've got people who are nervous about it, you've got people who are, trying and dabbling and getting all the tools and just jumping straight in without a kind of strategy. And I'm going to try and give a framework here where not only can you use AI in your business in an addition to you, as opposed to instead of you, but also hopefully you can thrive with it. So we don't need huge teams. Yes, we might be a solopreneur, or we might have a small team around us. We might have a big team around us. I don't know. But what I hate in business is inefficiency. And what I also hate is founders being burnt out and finding it impossible to actually get round to doing marketing, because we need to do so much more of it than we actually do. And I'm guilty of this myself. So, so I want you to thrive with AI. And what I mean by that is not just be successful. I want you to succeed. You've got my notes on the screen. But with AI, you can use that for good in your life, you can potentially add efficiencies to your business and to your life, so that some of that can be alleviated. And because marketing is my background, then that's where I want to help you. So let me put that differently. I don't want you to just be successful. I don't want you to just use it to get more money or more reach or make things a little bit easier in your life. I want it to be like second nature. Fast forward 10 years. I mean, I can't imagine what is going to be happening. We're going to have to move with this thing, right? It's not going anywhere. And what I really want to do is just empower you to have everything that you need to have a good solid foundation with AI, so that you can thrive in your business and also use it to your advantage. Like I'm not polite to my ChatGPT. I was before, but then I realized how much water it was using, and I just try and be an excellent prompter so that I can just keep things to a bare minimum. And yeah, where was I going with that? I think that's we have to be using it to our advantage so that we can be more present in our day-to-day lives. I've found I don't scroll now. I sometimes scroll. I don't sit and scroll on social media for a long time, because it just makes me feel awful. And I'm nice, like I'm a good person. I'm self-confident, like I'm not, you know, but it just comparisonitis is like it's a bad thing. And I love positive news feeds. I especially love when tiny little turtles eat big bites of strawberries and things like that. So that's what it's there for me. But we also need to use it for business. So if I can give you a way that you can just dive in, do a bit, and then dive straight back out again and go sit on the sofa, or take a walk with the dog, or whatever it is you want to do, with all of the time that you're going to save, then I will do that. So hopefully you're here for this. So how do we use AI for good? You don't have to read this, it's just from my notes. Okay. So AI stands for artificial intelligence. AI is intelligent in that it has a knowledge bank, but it's just using collective information. So collective information that it gathers from the internet that people have shared over the years. And who's to say that the stuff it's taken from is all correct, all ethical, all in the best interests of those reading it, and all accurate even? This is the scary part of AI for me. So the lack of acknowledgement that it could be wrong, but not just wrong, misinformed, providing people with hyper-personalized answer to their life's biggest questions based on what it believes to be the collective truth. It's not intelligent with relevance. That's where we need to be careful. So I would implore you, keep thinking. My motto is think, prompt, think. So rather than going and asking your biggest questions from the get-go, think first. What do you need to get out of this? What am I really asking for? And then prompt as best you possibly can, and then see what it gives you and think again. Put it through a lens, a filter. You wouldn't just take, Google's word for it, I hope. And it's a similar thing. So if you take a news article, for example, it could be not all journalists, Louisa, you're watching, not all journalists are unethical, but newspapers are owned by political parties, and ethics and clickbait and false news and other things. I'm not going into a big political rant here, but what I am saying is that the intelligence or the knowledge that AI is drawing on is also drawing upon opinion, stretched stories, things that are you don't know the agenda or intention behind a piece of information that is created. Even things like journals, but information can be biased. So what I'm saying is just take into account that when you're taking information from GPT, not only is it about 80% accurate, so you must check the facts, but also it's a potential minefield for giving you the facts which have been informed by multiple layers of different types of information gathered from wherever. A statistic, even if it's from Kingsley, you still want to think about that within the context of what you need that information for, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now, because it's a big topic, and I'm not trying to solve the bigger problems with AI, but what I do want to do is solve small problems with AI, and that is things like just feeling a bit drained and wanting to do, just a little bit less of the grunt work, shall we say. Let's delegate to it a little bit. So we're going to use AI in a professional way. We're going to enable it so that it can potentially serve more people, so we can serve more people. We, in turn, will then help more, but also earn more, and then be a little bit free more. Okay, so yeah, one last thing. We mustn't assume that AI is going away or that it won't get used by a competition. Deep breath. Big girl pants. Okay. Our clients, our families, us, our competition will be using AI going forward in just about every aspect of life. And what we can do is continue to think for ourselves whilst also using it to our advantage. So I said it before, we don't want to use it instead of us, we want to use it in addition to us. This isn't Lisa Johnson's, but I heard this on her Facebook challenge very recently. It might have even been Maria Went, and it might even be from someone before that. But if you're a consumer of social media and marketing, then that's one chunk of time that you're dedicating, you're taking from your day in order to consume stuff. And you might be saying to yourself, I'm consuming this in order to do market research and then get more ideas, and that's going to add to my business and improve my day. But actually, unless we turn into the creators of that marketing, the creators of those things, we're not going to get anything from it. So don't be passive, be proactive, and be a creator, not a consumer. So getting onto the Lovable app side of things, what I'd love to be able to do is help you monetize with sellable assets. And that means things like an app that people can use in place of you, or in addition to you. And one of those things is a Lovable app. Right, so I've created several Lovable assets, one of which is called the SHERP system, Elizabeth Carney Leonard's brainchild of the SHERP system, which uses several frameworks within marketing and social media, which is her zone of genius, coupled with my zone of genius, which is just dive into the tech and figure it out and make it amazing. And that's exactly what we've got. So we've got an app which takes what you're thinking, takes your ideas, and then cross-references that and dovetails it with the knowledge base that Elizabeth has come up with, which says, do use this language, don't use that language. If someone says they might want this, actually what they need is this. So you tell them that, and then they do this. And it's a very complex set of rules. But what we did was I used Lovable is to take the input that clients are putting in. For example, what would your ideal client be Googling, like late at night? What is their issue? And then it takes that and then mixes it with the AI. The way that it works is effective. I like to use the analogy of Elizabeth brought the ingredients, so the SHERP system, and then I bake the cake. So I whisk the eggs and bake it in the oven. And what the client does is has that as a tool in front of them, and they give it the flavour. So they are giving it their very own unique flavour. And what happens is at the end, they get a 12-week content matrix based on Elizabeth's SHERP system, which takes several different ways of thinking about social media, all of which are genius, all of which are layered one on top of the other, incorporated into the next question that the client is then answering, and then layer it and stack it and stack it and stack it. So then when it comes to the output, which is instantaneous, by the way, it then gives everything that Elizabeth would usually have to pore over a computer for hours to do in one sheet on it gives the days of the week that you need to post and the insights that are part of, and you get to select as you go through as well. So as the client, they can go, oh, okay, I'm going to choose these different content pillars, and oh yeah, that definitely sounds like my ideal client, and oh yeah, that resonates with me. And it mixes it all together and makes this delicious cake at the end, which is I'm just so proud of it. Anyway, so that's one example of what you can do. And if you don't have a super complex framework, then that's fine too. There's lots of different ways of using Lovable. and I think it's my favourite tool. I've tried Make, I've tried a couple of different other ones, and what I like about Lovable is that it's all in one place and it's vibe coded as well. So you don't need to be techie, and you can use it like a chat. But there are ways that it can break. There are ways that it can let you down. And what I would love to be able to do is, if you're going to dive in and start using Lovable, I'd love to be able to give you just a framework for you to not only understand how that works and how you can create something in it, but also use a strategy for your own benefit. We're going to monetize what's in your brain, so your intellectual property. You might even have a trademarked framework, and we're going to take your blueprint and we're going to put it into Lovable, so that either you add that as an additional resource that your clients, your existing clients, can benefit from, or it's an additional income stream for people. If you're high ticket, for example, and you charge £20,000 or £5,000, and there are people who really need what you're doing but can't afford that high ticket, this then gives you an opportunity to have those people be served at a lower price point. But again, this is a benefit to you because it's scalable and it's digital, and you don't need to be there in order for this to have a huge impact on somebody's life. So it could scale and go global. You could put ads behind it and put it in a Stan store. You could have a school community. You could have any number of things that allow you to share what you do to more people and still benefit. So that's what I'm hopefully going to give you. I think the best call to action I can give you at this stage is, if I'm sharing this, I'll be sharing this on YouTube. I do have a school community, which at the moment is free. So you can request membership in there. It's called Aligned AI School. And the community in there is relatively small because it's new, but also there's assets and resources in there for you to be able to get started straight away if you want to, but also come along on the journey with me as I learn more and give you more and more information to help you with your AI and marketing as you go forward. So thank you for watching to the end. The link to the school community is in the description. Please ask me any questions, and if you've made it to the end, please comment Lovable, and I'll just come and say hi in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you inside, and hopefully you'll be along on the ride with me. I'll see you on the next video.